Smoking mad naughty. Suck my nigga. Smoking your brother.
DD.
Interview.ol0. 5D Osama was caught lacking by the Opps and violated with his mind. And the fans are going crazy over this new clip. This story got layers that'll make your head spin. So, I need you to sit back and relax, because we're going to be breaking this whole thing down to you. And trust me, it gets crazier as we go. To understand how these Opps will even Oblato find him in the first place, we gotta take it back to where it all started. Didi Osama Street background, Sugar Hill's rising star. Before we get into what went down at that airport, let me break down who Didi Osama really is and where he come from. Because understanding his background is key to understanding why this situation was so disrespectful. David Deshaun Reyes, known as Didi Osama, is from Sugar Hill in Harlem, New York. Now, when I say Sugar Hill, I ain't talking about no sweet neighborhood. This is one of the most dangerous blocks in Manhattan where young dudes been getting into it for decades. DDR reps OY, which stands for Original Youngins, and they also go by OGZ in some areas. This gang was formed after a split from a bigger organization called the Young Gunners, or YGs, back in the mid-2000s. The O mainly operate out of Sugar Hill, but they got sets all over Harlem and the Bronx. Now, DD wasn't always in the streets, heavy like that. Him and his brothers Jay Starballer and Nadio Osama grew up with their mother, Crimsley Martinez, who worked in real estate. Their father wasn't really in the picture, so it was mainly their moms holding it down. But the street of Sugar Hill don't care about your family situation when you're from that area. You either get down or you get got. Didi and his brothers ended up following their older brother Jarballer into the OI lifestyle, throwing up gang signs and getting active in the neighborhood politics. The crazy thing is, Didi actually started getting into music because of his little brother, Naughty. Naughty was the one who started rapping first, dropping tracks on SoundCloud when he was only 11 years old. Didi saw his little brother's talent and decided to join him. And together they started building a buzz in the New York drill scene. But being from Sugar Hill and repping meant they had automatic beef with multiple gangs across the city. The Ooze has been going at it with gangs like 41 YGs from the Bronx, Sevside, and many others. This beef goes back years, way before DD even started rapping. Who really caught DD lacking? Now, let's talk about who really caught DD at that airport. Because this wasn't just some random dude trying to get clout. The person who pressed DD goes by the name Curry, and he's affiliated with YGs, specifically the 700 set from Washington Heights. The YGZ, or Young Gunners, are the original gang that the OIs split from back in the day. So this beef between DD's people and Curry's people goes way deeper than just rap music. We talking about a decade plus of street politics, bodies dropping, and real hatred between these sets. Curry and his people from 700 been going at it with Sugar Hill OIS for years. They lost homies to this beef. They done time because of this beef. And they've been dissing each other's dead friends long before Didi Osama was even famous. But what made this situation at the airport so personal was what happened to Didi's little brother, Naughty Z Curry. Wasn't just some random OP. He was connected to the same street politics that got Naughty killed in the first place. To understand why this airport situation was so disrespectful, you got to understand what happened to Naughty Osama and how his death affected Didi and his whole family. On July 9th, 2022, 14-year-old Ethan Reyes, known as Nadio Osama, was with Didi earlier in the day. They had been hanging out, probably working on music or just spending time together like brothers do. But around 2:00 p.m., they went their separate ways. DD had some business to handle, and Naughty was going to meet up with two of his friends. That decision to split up would haunt DD for the rest of his life because it was the last time he would see his little brother alive. Around 3:00 p.m., Naughty and his two friends were walking near 137th Street and Broadway when they spotted a 15-year-old dude named Kelvin Martinez, who went by a Fest Street name Kodak. Martinez was affiliated with the 700 set, the same crew that Curry reps. Now, here's where the street politics come in. Naughty recognized Martinez as an Opie, and instead of just letting it slide, he decided to handle it the street way. Naughty grabbed a broomstick as a weapon, and him and his friends chased Martinez into the subway station. They cornered Martinez on the northbound platform of the one train at 137th Street City College Station. Naughty and his friends started beating Martinez with the broomstick, thinking they had him trapped with nowhere to go. But Martinez wasn't going out like that. He pulled out a knife and stabbed Naughty in the abdomen, puncturing his liver. One of Naughty's friends then stabbed Martinez in retaliation, and in the chaos, Naughty actually pushed Martinez onto the train tracks. Martinez was able to get up and escape, but Naughty collapsed on the subway staircase. He was rushed to Mount Sinai Morningside Hospital, but the damage was too severe. Naughty Osama died from his injuries, just 14 years old. The whole thing was caught on surveillance cameras, and the footage was clear enough that police were able to identify Martinez quickly. He was arrested the same day and charged with second-degree murder, though the charges were later reduced to first-degree manslaughter. But here's the crazy part. In October 2022, all charges against Martinez were dropped. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office said they couldn't prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Martinez wasn't acting in. They said the evidence showed that Naughty and his friends were the aggressors and Martinez was just defending himself. That decision devastated DD and his family. Not only did they lose Naughty, but they felt like the system failed them by letting his killer walk free. How it all went down. Fast forward to the airport situation. DD Osama was traveling with his mother, Crimsley Martinez, probably heading to a show or some business meeting. They were just trying to get through the airport, like regular people. But the streets don't take no days off. Curry, the YG's member from 700, happened to be at the same airport at the same time. Now, some people might say this was a coincidence, but in the streets, there ain't no such thing as coincidences. Curry might have known DD was going to be there, or he might have just got lucky and spotted him. Either way, when Curry saw DD with his mother, he saw an opportunity to violate him in the worst way possible. Instead of just letting it slide or handling it like a Manunian one, Curry decided to disrespect Naughty's memory right in front of DD's mother. Ooh, Sama coping it in the airport, smoking mad Naughty, smoking your brother, _. No, what's going on? Everything for Wooly smoking Naughty. You not smoking on woo _ pick your brother up. I would have crashed out, you heard? I'm not, and I'm a rapper too. You heard, but I really get active. I don't do what you do, and I'm on that with or without my mother you hard video shows. Curry walking up to DD and his mother talking loud so everybody in the airport could hear. He started saying, smoking mad Naughty and my DD. Smoking your brother. He was literally telling DD's mother that he was smoking her dead son's pack right to her face. Dee's mother tried to tell Curry to didn't respond, which was the appropriate decision. He claimed that DD was being wise by not endangering his career over some clout chasing, and that their mother didn't even feel intimidated. Career changes versus street politics. The predicament that young drill rappers are in is exemplified by this circumstance. In order to retain their fan base and respect in the neighborhood, they had to, on the one hand, preserve their street credibility. However, they had money in professions too. Safe. There was no way for DD Osama to win. He might have been arrested, placed on a no-fly list, and had his career ruined if he had responded as the streets anticipated. However, he appeared weak to the same fans of his music by leaving. Curry knew exactly what he was doing, which is absurd. He selected the ideal location for DD violations. Somewhere in public where DD couldn't really take revenge without facing dire repercussions. Regardless of DD's response, the deliberate disrespect was intended to damage his reputation. Why won't this end? The situation at the airport has just fueled a fire that has been raging for years. Rap music is just one aspect of the conflict between OO and YZ. It's about respect, territory, and corpses dropped on both sides. Since Nutty passed away, Curry and his group from 700 have been making fun of his passing through songs and social media posts. In their music, they even alluded to the manner in which he was slain, discussing stabbing and poking. Although Didi and his group have been replying with their own diss tunes, the circumstances at the airport demonstrated that beyond simply the music, the beef is still very much active in real life. The effect on the career of Didi Osama's career has advanced despite the viral video casting him in a negative light for some of us. His music videos have received millions of views. Major labels have been contacting him, and he has been booked for performances all over the nation. However, this airport scenario always be a mark on his street reputation. Every time he releases a new song or appears in an interview, the video of him leaving as his deceased brother was treated disrespectfully comes up. The question is whether Didi can get past that impression and carry on advancing his career. If the streets will always remember him as the guy who failed to protect his brother's honor when it counted most, the lesson is that street politics cannot be won. Ultimately, this whole incident demonstrates why so many young rappers find it difficult to make the leap from the streets to real stardom. The same legitimacy that gives their music authenticity also puts them in precarious circumstances where they must decide between their reputation and their safety. Walking away was the wise business move for Didi Osama. However, wise business choices don't necessarily convert into respect on the streets. Regardless of the repercussions, the culture requires you to deal with disrespect right away.